Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm Gorilla Monsoon's neck brace.
And I am hoping to have a nice day.
Welcome to episode 188, WWF Monday Night RAW.
Raw!
It's not war yet.
No.
Not yet. So this was the 146th episode of Raw produced by WWF. It would take place on January 22nd, 1996 from the Stockton Memorial Civic Auditorium in Stockton, California, but would air on February 5th, 96, with an attendance of 2,904 people and a TV rating of 2.7.
Gotta love those pre-recorded weeks ahead of time.
Yeah, at this point, I think that they were filming like 3 at a time.
Yes.
And this is the day after the last pay-per-view.
Yes. So, like, we've literally watched
So much Stockton, California.
We watched the live episode right after Rumble, then we missed a week, and now we're watching another one. So it's like, we're just killing it on these TV episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like those Raw tapings back in the day could have been fun because the way that Raw was arranged was kind of nice. It'd be like, oh, maybe some, couple, like a squash match, maybe a moderately competitive tag match, and then sometimes you get lucky.
Yep.
Sometimes, Bret Hart shows up.
Exactly.
Or maybe you get this show where
A lot of stuff happens.
Yeah, the Raws back in the day were great when they would record a few at a time, because I went to a couple of those, and I mean, it turned into a 5 or 6 hour wrestling event, which, it got to be a little bit tiring, but the shows themselves were shorter, so you had more opportunities to get excited, and you'd have a dark match in between the recordings. So, at one point I got to see a future WrestleMania match as a dark match,
nice.
as a practice one for him with
kind of like house
Taker
shows.
and Sid.
Kind of like house shows. Sometimes they'd have, it's like, oh well, we're working this feud, so this is our practicing for the pay-per-view coming up.
Yep.
But we are back in California.
That we are.
So Shane, what did you bring us this week?
Well, I did what I do in this culinary beverage whatever trip around the globe. I looked up, I guess I should start with, we've been in California frequently here in this same area, and I've used both of their sandwiches, and I decided it was time for a cocktail. So I know I've already brought the official cocktail of California
A while ago.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I want to say it was like mimosas or something,
Was
but
it
I
the
might be
bull
wrong.
shot?
Definitely wasn't the bull
No,
shot.
it was not the bull shot. But I decided to do what I've done in the past, where I do something that's associated with one of the wrestlers on the show. I looked up if there was something called a Big Daddy Cool, and there was something called a Daddy Cool, but it required...
Wasn't big, so it's not the same.
Yeah, wasn't big, and if I had to make it big, then I didn't have enough time to, because apparently it called for like cocoa nibs to be soaked in alcohol for a couple of days.
Oh, wow. This seems a little much.
A little too much for a Monday Night Raw. So I looked around and I discovered that there is a cocktail called the British Bulldog. And one of my very first drinks, I shouldn't even say one of, the very first drink I had was a Colorado Bulldog. So I already knew I was most likely going to like it. But it has an ingredient in there that I'm sometimes okay with, but I don't know if I'm as okay with it in this. The British Bulldog cocktail is an ounce of vodka, an ounce of Kahlua, an ounce of butter shots or a butterscotch liqueur, and then a bunch of cream. And it's very sweet. I mean, I'm a coffee fiend, so it doesn't have enough coffee flavor for me. I think the butterscotch overpowers the coffee way too much.
You could use like a shot of espresso or something.
Yes. throw in a shot of espresso, a scoop of instant coffee, or
Closest
just
thing I ever want to drink to coffee.
throw some coffee ice cream in there and throw it all in a blender. It's not terrible, but it's not my favorite.
It's not as good as a White Russian
no.
or a Colorado Bulldog.
No.
I could use this for the liquid in a milkshake.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Matt, do you know what a Colorado Bulldog is?
I have absolutely no clue.
It's delicious.
It's a White Russian with a splash of Coca-Cola.
Yep.
And somehow it sounds disgusting because you're like mixing Coca-Cola and milk, but it's good.
I've had worse things.
But it's
great.
But it's not bad. I always have a weird time. It's like I'm not gonna get drunk off milk, but every once in a while you have a White Russian. It's good.
Yeah, so I'm that asshole on St. Patrick's Day that used to go around and bug them for green Russians because I didn't want green beer.
Oh yeah.
Like, you got the stuff to make the beer green, make my drink green. And they would.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean they've got everyone's. But yeah, on that day, if you're a bartender, everybody's got like at least one green food color in their pocket.
Yep. Hell, I may carry it around with me at times just because some places didn't have it. So
You're a trooper.
that's right. I want what I want, and if you can't make it for me, then I'll help you.
Well, something that would happen right around the same time as this Raw airing, Broken Arrow would be released to theaters a few days later, being the #1 movie for the next couple of weeks.
I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
I always get it mixed up with
Face Off? Or
no, the other one, Con Air.
Con Air.
And I don't think I've
The
ever
one
seen
that
Broken
doesn't
Arrow
have John Travolta in it?
because I just got them like mixed up. And Con Air, I feel like has had it's been celebrated more since
Yeah,
it's come out
definitely.
than like Broken Arrow. As Broken Arrow seems more of a deep cut at this point, but I do remember it being a big movie. Who's in Broken Arrow?
Christian Slater
Love him.
and John Travolta.
John Travolta.
It does involve like an airplane, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's why I get confused.
Christian
That's
Slater.
I'm just making sure.
Christian Slater's flying a stealth bomber of sorts. It's been a while since I've seen the movie as well. But
I don't think
basically,
anybody's seen it since
Travolta
1998.
Travolta plays the bad guy and shoots it down out of the sky,
Yep.
and then basically Slater has to protect the plane and save the day. Blah blah blah. Crazy thing is, Travolta actually, when he auditioned, he wanted to be the good guy.
Of course he did.
I mean, that's the role he initially went out for, which I'm just like, you would have had to have someone.
Oh, it's a John Woo movie. That makes
Yes,
sense.
it is a John Woo movie.
How many doves? Can we get a dove count?
I don't know if there was any doves in this one.
No,
I'm
just
sure
kidding.
probably when he was coming down in the parachute.
Who else we got in the cast? I don't remember. Samantha Mathis, Delroy Lindo, Frank Whaley, old Howie Long. Forgot about him. in there.
Howie Long.
Oh,
had
yeah,
a-
so Broken-
had a film career.
Broken Arrow is kind of the the beginning of.
The Wooniverse.
I guess not because there's Hard Boiled and Hard Target, but Broken Arrow and then Face Off is huge, and then from that he gets Mission Impossible 2, which might be the least good Mission Impossible movie, but no shade. You gave us Face Off, it's fine.
Oh, woo.
But it's also the guy who wrote the movie wrote Speed
Okay.
and unfortunately Hard Rain. But one of my favorite shows, a couple TV shows that he was involved with, Band of Brothers. He helped write it, and Justified.
I've
Which
heard
is-
good
which is
things
a
about
favorite
this
of mine.
Like, I gotta look back through more of his...
And then a new one, an underrated TV show, which was his one that he did after Justified, called Sneaky Pete on Amazon, which people should definitely check out.
I've heard good things about Sneaky Pete. I still have never actually watched it. Broken Arrow.
Oh, he
I
also
might have to watch it
wrote
again.
13 episodes of Hey Dude.
Yes, that was his first drawing.
Fuck yeah!
That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, he's been.
Oh, hey, dude.
He's been working for a long time.
Oh yeah,
in the
Mission to
industry.
Mars. A whole bunch of them. That's cool. Uncredited
Terrorists
co-writing
steal
for
nuclear
Planet of the
warheads
Apes
from the
2001.
US military, but don't count on a pilot and a park ranger spoiling their plans.
What is Hard Rain?
Is it Keanu Reeves action film?
Oh no, well, no, Slater. It's also Slater.
Yeah, so I was thinking it had Christian Slater in that one too. 'cause
Slater and Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, yeah.
That's what it
Was it
says.
about Keanu?
No, it's like a rain coming down and a jailbreak or something like that. I can't remember the full everything. I watched it. It was one of those things where I was working at Blockbuster at the time when it came out on video, so it was one of those I got to take home for free
Maybe
before
I
it came
think,
out.
yeah, what about Keanu?
The Hard Rain sounds like a stand-up bit of somebody like describing a movie. And it's like, what do we call it? Oh, I don't know. Hard Rain.
What was that movie? Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy.
Oh, Chubby Rain. You're thinking
Chubby Rain,
of
yeah.
A movie we bring up a lot, and now I can't think of what it's called.
Son of a bitch.
Bowfinger.
Bowfinger.
Yeah,
Thank you.
One of my favorites.
Chain
as a kid.
Reaction. That was the Hard Rain Chain Reaction.
That's right.
they're
Yeah.
Just bad names of movies.
They came out around the same time.
Yeah,
I
those
think,
are.
too.
It's one of those things where it's like somebody's like, "Oh, it's a good band name." It's like I don't know if it's a good band name, but it's a good song name, and that's kind of how Hard Rain and Chain Reaction are. It's like, there's better song titles.
Chubby Rain. Oh, Bowfinger.
Although I'm pretty sure there
Way
is
better than Broken Arrow.
an old hardcore band called Chain Reaction, but that's a pretty decent band name. Hard Rain, not so much. Great
Chain
song
Mail.
title.
Chainmail. That'll be my
I
band name.
Here you go. Oh, I don't have a copy of it. I gave my friend a premise for a comic book, and I was like, here, you can do whatever you want with it, but here's the premise. And the premise was calling it Chained Mail, and it was just a guy trying to save the princess, but at the end, the princess isn't a princess. It's his boyfriend, and it ends on a kiss. And I was like, I can't draw, but I have this idea for a comic book, and if you want it, you can have it.
I like where you're going with that.
Yeah, so Chained Mail was maybe one of my best ideas, but I didn't even finish it. I just gave it to somebody that's more creative than I am.
Well, let's head to Stockton, California. Let's
do it.
And talk some Raw. Vince McMahon welcomes us to the show, being joined by Jerry the King Lawler for commentary, and they hype up the matches on this show. We go straight to our first match.
Yeah, no pomp and circumstance here. This is Raw. We got to get it done in an hour.
That's right. We got the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, and Yokozuna with Jim Cornette versus two dudes with attitudes of Shawn Michaels and Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
Last time we saw these guys fighting each other, it was 3 belts on the line.
Mm-hmm. And it's more like one guy with the attitude of two dudes.
Vince sends us to some footage from last week's Raw where we see Yoko accidentally drop a leg drop on the Bulldog as Big Daddy Cool would move out of the way.
Oh no, that obviously means there's tension within the ranks.
Later on that Raw, Yoko would face the Heartbreak Kid when Owen Hart would run in and deliver a spinning heel kick to Zuna accidentally, allowing Shawn to get a win after a sweet chin music.
Feels like Owen's been gone for a while.
Right?
He's there, he's just...
Yeah, just not being pushed at the moment.
Yeah.
He's enjoying being a new dad or something.
Yeah, we're getting some house show money.
Yeah.
Back to live action with Michaels and Davey Boy starting us off with poses to the crowd that the Heartbreak Kid wins the crowd reaction.
Imagine that.
As he should. Bulldog hits a shoulder block that sends Shawn out to the floor, but once he returns, Michaels blocks a hip toss and pokes Davey Boy in the eyes. Bulldog looks to retaliate with a press slam, only for another rake of the eyes and a clothesline that send Davey Boy out to the floor. Yokozuna attacks from behind, throwing the Heartbreak Kid, only for Diesel to catch him and then toss him right back onto Yoko to knock him down. Zuna is then punched out to the floor by Big Daddy Cool, so everyone regroups, and now the legal men are Diesel and Yokozuna, where the two men shove each other, but Diesel gets the upper hand with right hands and a clothesline, only to be dumped with a Samoan drop, followed by a missed elbow drop. Shawn then comes back in to be sent to the ropes, where the Bulldog pulls them down, causing Michaels to crash out to the floor. Davey Boy keeps up the attack by sending the Heartbreak Kid into the steel steps and apron before rolling him back in for a double team headbutt. Bulldog hits a delayed vertical suplex, followed by Yoko chokes in the corner, which causes Big Daddy Cool to come running around ringside, only to be stopped by the ref as we head to commercial. We come back to Zuna laying it in with right hands to Shawn before locking on a nerve hold.
My favorite.
The nerve of this guy.
Right.
Davey Boy returns to hammer away on Michaels before Camp Cornette double-team headbutts the Heartbreak Kid once more. Yokozuna body slams Shawn. He goes for a second rope splash, only for Michaels to avoid and crawl his way to the corner for the
Hot Attack.
Diesel with right hands to Yoko. Big boot to Bulldog. Body guillotine and a big boot to Zuna before tagging HBK back in to leap off Big Daddy Cool's shoulders with a splash. Makes the cover, only for Davey Boy to break it up with an accidental leg drop to Yokozuna.
Here we go again.
I mean, this is tag team wrestling.
Bulldog is then clotheslined over the ropes by Diesel, while Shawn nails sweet chin music to Yoko to send him out to the floor. Owen Hart then comes running down to help Davey Boy try and get Zuna up because he's 650 pounds and laying on the floor.
It's going to take him a little bit by himself.
And it ends up taking longer than 10 seconds. So Yokozuna is counted out.
Dun, dun, dun.
Post-match, Cornette starts yelling at Yoko, only for Zuna to just flip out and start to hammer away on Corny.
After he was taking it until you poked his chest. You can't put your hands on the man.
Owen and Bulldog try to make the save, only for Yokozuna to fight them off to stand tall in the ring.
Vince McMahon says that Cornette is verbally raping Yoko, and I'm like, holy shit! You you definitely shouldn't have said that then, and you wouldn't be saying that now.
Doesn't really hold up that well over time, though, Vinny. Couple of things from this show might come back to bite you a little bit.
But I was like, God damn. Just that word being thrown around on like 7 o'clock on TV so flippantly. But I mean, nice match with the right finish for a TV episode. Corny had some input on the way this tag match went, as it was classic and sensical, and the hot tag was hot.
A mysterious voice begins to narrate a video. It seems things are beginning to change around here, getting a little out of control. Maybe I finally found a home, a hardcore home, and now I can have a nice day.
I mean, I was like, we're doing this? And the camera just like from behind him, essentially. It's like it's like heavily affected video, but
yeah, if you don't know, you can't tell who it is.
Yeah, if you don't know, but
I mean, if you have no clue who he is, but
if you were not watching WCW a few years ago,
once the voice comes through and then they zoom in on the ear, it's a little more clear.
Yeah, but I remember when they did the Y2J thing as a kid in 99 or whatever. 99. I had not been watching WCW. I was, somebody that got indoctrinated to the Attitude Era, basically, kind of at its fever pitch, essentially after it kind of won the war. And they teased that, and I was like, I don't know what this is. And then when Chris Jericho came out, I was like, that's the first time I saw Chris Jericho. I had no idea, and I was like, oh, obviously this guy's a big deal. So it would make sense that there's probably plenty of people that don't know who this is. Yeah. But we've been watching everything. if you look at this podcast feed, we definitely know who this guy is.
We then go to our second match. Hakushi versus 1-2-3 Kid with the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase.
And did you know that 1-2-3 Kid is going to have a crybaby match coming up? He's carrying around a baby bottle, diapers.
That's what men do.
Also, did you know that Hakushi is so cool?
How cool is he?
Just look at the guy. There's no joke. He's so cool he doesn't even have to say anything, and he will get cheered because look at him.
Yep.
He's covered in tattoos, and he does a handspring back elbow. He just looks awesome, and I feel like
angelic and everything.
It's such a missed opportunity. This guy could have definitely hung out in this company for longer.
Oh yeah, my nephew had shot me a text a while back, and that's one of the things because he's been rewatching. I think he's rewatching like all of Raw, and
Bold man.
And yeah, he shot me a message about how it's really sad that Hakushi didn't get
More
bigger.
love.
Yeah, more love, more screen time, more storylines, more everything. But
because I mean, he just
as I
shows
told
up
him-
and the crowd is behind him
Yeah.
immediately.
As I told him, the Vince and WWF at that time weren't ready for Japanese influences.
I mean,
They were starting to, but they just hadn't quite.
have they ever really understood what to do with
No.
foreign wrestlers?
No, because that was
can't
another
speak
thing
English?
No.
They decided to buy into it, and then once they bought into it, they still didn't know how to do it right, because that's how we ended up with Taka and Funaki. And
I mean, I think Asuka is probably the
biggest.
the biggest name,
Yeah.
or the biggest Japanese-born wrestler that's ever been in WWE.
Outside of like Nakamura,
I mean,
Nakamura from NXT.
Yokozuna.
Yeah, he's
you
Hawaiian.
don't count.
Yeah, but Nakamura up until that like one WrestleMania match with him and AJ that was kind of meh, and
He
then
was
after
big in-
that nothing happened.
Nakamura was big in NXT.
Yes.
He's never really done anything in
No.
WWE proper.
The biggest thing he did was the
Royal
WrestleMania
Rumble.
match.
And I mean,
Yeah.
that's
And the
kind
Royal-
of the same for Asuka in a way. Yeah, they put the belt on her a few times, but it's been nothing compared to what she was when she was in NXT. You know,
Well,
if
'cause
we
they
could
treat
get
her-
this,
she's
if we
treated
get
as-
the,
You can't do the same thing though, and
I know, but they could at least do something to try and.
I mean, I always find her interesting when she's on top. So
Yeah, I mean, if you just treat her as a badass like NXT did, then it's like obviously no problem. But as soon as she does like comedy, it just whether she
But see,
wants
I think
to do
she
it or
does
not, it just,
comedy better than almost anybody as well.
hey, she's got it all. What can we say?
That's right.
The fact that her and Nakamura kind of had the same entrance for a while there, where they both came down and just like threw
Well, they
their
both
arms
did.
out to the side to the music.
Yeah, they're both wild. Big personalities.
I want the sad, murderous clown to show up and just take out everybody on Raw. That's the Asuka that I want.
Yeah, I want her to just
I want old
spin
school.
kick everybody in the jaw.
I'm tired of all the masks and all that and all the scarves and whatnot. I want
But that's always been part of her
an
gimmick.
Oscar reload.
Even back in Japan, that's been part of her gimmick.
Yeah, she's always had like the masks and the makeup and stuff. But I want her less.
I just want her to get some new gear. 'cause
less
she just
comedic.
looks the same.
Yeah,
She stayed looking the
She's
same.
literally had the same
Yeah.
gear since Japan.
I know. I don't even need that. I
Then
just
that's the problem. I need a fresh Asuka.
I just want her to be a heel, that just not necessarily a heel, but just a badass. It comes out and it's like doesn't have to say anything at all. It just looks intimidating and then kicks people.
I mean, if they're going to heat her up again, they need to definitely turn her heel.
It's like back in the day when we wanted Rick Rude to get new tights, and then he got new tights, and they were badass. That's what I want. I want Asuka to get some badass new tights.
You don't like the thong on the outside?
She can still have a thong, but just give me a different thong.
Okay,
Mix it up.
new color.
Exactly.
Well, back to our Hakushi 1-2-3 kid match. So the two are back and forth to begin until Hakushi blocks a hip toss and super kicks the kid out to the floor to regroup. Back in the ring, Hakushi continues with an uppercut and a kick to the knee to put 1-2-3 down, but the kid kips up for a standoff. Hakushi hits a back kick, but a reversed whip allows 1-2-3 to toss Hakushi over the ropes to the floor, following out with a somersault plancha. Back in the ring, the kid stays on the offensive with a series of kicks and a running drop kick as we go to commercial. We come back to see highlights of 1-2-3 hitting an enziguri during the break, before rejoining the action where the kid delivers a snap suplex for a 2 count. 1-2-3 heads up top, leaping off with a splash, only to be met in mid-air with a drop kick from Hakushi.
Woo!
The kid gets sent to a corner, allowing Hakushi to connect with a handspring back elbow and a running forearm smash for a near fall.
Beautiful.
Hakushi then hits an enziguri to send 1-2-3 out to the floor, following out with a springboard pescado. Back in the ring, Hakushi then comes off the top rope again with a shoulder block for a 2 count, but then misses a clothesline. allowing 1-2-3 to deliver a spinning heel kick for a near fall, which is then reversed into an Hakushi cover for a 2 count. The Kid is taken down by a Hurricanrana for a near fall, followed by Hakushi heading up top, only to be crotched after 1-2-3 hits a dropkick. Kid then hits a double underhook overhead suplex off the top rope for the pin and the win.
And this is great, and this is the kind of things that you want to see on TV. I mean, of course, they weren't. We know they're not going to push Hakushi, but either one of these guys could have won and got over with it, and people would have loved Hakushi to pin this butthole right now. But he's going to pay-per-view with a bottle in his hand. We know who is going to win.
Michael, speaking of hands, would you like to hold mine for a moment? Not like that. Matt has something to say.
And this would be the last time we see Hakushi in a WWF ring.
Well, he went out with a bang in a great television match, right? Would you guys agree that was a great match?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Should have had more.
I know we'll see him at least once in ECW. One time. I don't even know if we're going to cover that show.
I think that might be the only other time we see him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy that we'll get to see him again. I don't know what the match is going to be like or if it'll be clear enough to where we can see him, but...
Well, we'll have an old favorite Hayabushi, I believe, in that match as well.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's still in the ECW arena, so, you know.
We never got a Hakushi versus Shawn. I mean, we got him versus Bret, but...
The things Hakushi could have done. And now they probably just, went to war or something like that and did, tag matches, in a pool with an alligator.
He never shows up in, a Japan show or...
Definitely, but...
He works mostly All Japan.
Okay, yeah. Supposedly 90s All Japan was some of the best shit ever, and we just haven't covered it because we're cretins.
I mean, it's hard enough to find the New Japan stuff that we cover.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
Vincent sends us 2 comments made earlier in the day, where Jim Cornette and his lawyer, Clarence Mason, are there, saying that the WWF hasn't made a judgment on their appeal of Vader's suspension. Mason continues with that they will sue if he is not reinstated. We then get highlights of Vader beating down President Gorilla Monsoon a couple of weeks earlier, before going to Monsoon, who's recovering at home, but says he will heal up and apologizes to the fans for his actions, because he got into the ring not as for the president, but as Gorilla Monsoon.
That's right.
And when he talks about his injuries, he does it in the perfect, Gorilla Monsoon way, where he's talking about his this naming the vertebrae and talking about cartilage tears and stuff. And the only Gorilla Monsoon can do it.
I've always wanted to hear Gorilla Monsoon say 1.21 gigawatts. I don't know why, but
it would be amazing. Yeah, that's what it sounds like anytime he talks about an injury, because it feels like he read some correct terminology for injuries, but then he just uses them willy-nilly. And when he talked about the ones that whatever he said here, I looked it up to see how correct it was, how correct it could be, if considering the angle, and he was on. They were not something that was completely unrelated. They were very much in the same area where he was attacked.
Gorilla would then continue by saying the decision to reinstate Vader is up to the board of directors. Lawler then asks Monsoon about turning over the president's role to Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Yeah, I totally forgot that happened.
This is the first time hearing this, and I got pretty excited. I was like, oh man, that could be fun.
Gorilla responds by saying he knows that Piper can be a loose cannon, but he believes that he is a good fit and will help the WWF. We then get an ad for the Slammy Awards 1996. Cast your ballots today, guys.
Woo! Who are you voting for?
That guy.
Oh yeah, I don't know, probably Bret Hart.
Hakushi forever.
Yeah, is this because the Slammies only happened for a couple years, right?
They
kind of off and on.
They still happen.
Oh, really?
They'll do a 2-year break, and then they'll do one, and then I think this was around the time that they started making them like an award show during Raw.
Yeah.
Or they had their own little special presentation or something. Because
So it's kind of whenever they're feeling up to it.
Yeah, I believe I looked it up. I didn't write it down, but I think there was like 15 categories for the 96 Slammy Awards because they were going to do a special Raw basically at the end. Like it makes sense for them to do it like as like a Christmas special because they can film this like random episode.
It's almost kind of like your yearly, like, you know, they didn't do it yearly, but on sitcoms you'd have your like clip show episode. And it's like, oh, well, this is your like clip show, but doing it once a year for wrestling makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
We then go to our third match, The Undertaker with Paul Bearer versus Bret, the Hitman Hart, for the WWF Championship.
I mean, this is why we're here, guys.
That's right. Getting that rematch from Royal Rumble.
Heavyweight championship on Raw. We got to cover it.
And I mean, it's kind of something we don't get nowadays. So it's kind of nice to remember when they used to defend the belt on Raw.
I mean, you know.
The strap, the title, the
championship.
Like, what other words don't I not say?
I'm trying to think of the last time I could think of it happening on, like, WWF, but I could have happened last week for all I know. I'm not that plugged
Definitely
in.
not, because Roman Reigns doesn't do TV.
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, CM Punk and John Moxley, too. That just happened.
So we do see footage from that Royal Rumble match where Diesel interfered to stop it. And Vince says Bret wanted this match to prove that he could win. So the two men are trading strikes to begin when Taker takes control after he sends the Hitman into a turnbuckle and starts to choke him. A turnbuckle smash, more choking by the dead man when Big Daddy Cool would make his way down to join commentary.
Oh, somebody get this guy out of here. He's volatile. Is this the first Undertaker since he's... I guess, Bret just took his mask off in the last match. So now he's just not wearing it. Because that was a weird couple of matches. It's just a funny look.
Undertaker goes for old school, only to be yanked down by Hart, allowing him to start working the knee of Taker with an elbow drop and dropping down to the floor to wrap it around the ring post.
I mean, it's the name of the game.
When the Hitman rolls back in, he is met by several uppercuts and an elbow drop as we go to commercial. We come back to the dead man delivering a back suplex, dumping Hart out to the floor, where he keeps up the punishment by smashing Bret into a guardrail. Back in the ring, the Undertaker climbs to the top for old school before hitting a leaping clothesline and goes for the tombstone. But the Hitman's feet hit the referee, knocking him out.
Oh, snap.
Ref bump.
Hart then wiggles his way free to send Taker into a turnbuckle before rolling him up, but the ref is still out. The dead man nails a clothesline.
What a maneuver.
But he misses an elbow drop, allowing Bret to take control by going to work on the leg again.
You gotta slam it into that post.
A few more times. Diesel then leaves the broadcast booth to send the Hitman into the ring post as well.
Oh, that guy.
Why?
And Undertaker recovers to attack the Big Daddy Cool out on the floor as well, ramming him into the ring steps before going back to Hart. But Diesel comes back with a chair, whacking Taker across the back.
It's also nice to see, Undertaker a little less strong. Sometimes it's like, we get it, man.
A little more human.
Maybe you sell something. But, I mean, we're complaining about The Undertaker. I shouldn't do that. We've got Hogan probably in the next episode.
Yeah. We'll have other stuff to complain about. Taker down the line.
Yeah.
Big Daddy Cool then rolls the dead man into the ring, where he hits a pair of power bombs before leaving the ring and heading to the back as we go to commercial.
Those were some, sloppy jackknives.
I mean, they're two big boys.
Yep.
It's hard to get up. It's not the same as popping
up,
Bret up or, really anybody else on the card outside of, or on the roster outside of Vader at this point. But Undertaker sells those jackknives really well.
Oh, yeah.
As he should.
We come back to footage from the break where Bret would begin to brawl with Diesel before officials would break it up. And McMahon tells us the match was declared a draw. We then go to Billionaire Ted having a press conference.
Uh-oh.
He admits his wrestling company has lost millions of dollars, but he has been having fun. And Ted doesn't care about his shareholders, and his motivation is power and money. As most CEOs' motivation is.
Yeah. Billionaires.
We basically get goodbyes at this point as well, because it fades out, but all of a sudden there's a newspaper ad.
Yes, this is very funny.
With narration from McMahon. This was a newspaper ad that WWF wanted to place in the New York Times and Wall Street Journal.
Oh, they were serious about this?
Yeah.
What a,
Yes,
what
they
a,
really
what a
wanted to-
petty son of a bitch.
Yep.
McMahon says that it was rejected, but
No
a
shit.
modified version would be printed that week. They tried to get it in the previous week's New York Times, blah, blah, blah. Now it's going to be in this next week's. Then the ad says, "Attention stockholders. Has Ted Turner lost $40 million of your money in his personal vendetta against the WWF? Where are those losses reported in the financial statements?"
And this is where you are reminded, and it makes so much sense, that Vince McMahon and Donald Trump are such good friends. Because Vince McMahon and Donald Trump are essentially the same guy.
Yep.
They're not too different from each other.
Nope.
Except for, Vince McMahon wasn't...
One has hair.
Yeah, one wasn't crazy.
One's in the Hall of Fame and one is not.
Yeah. Vince McMahon wasn't silly enough to try to get into politics.
Yeah. Attention stockholders was something that the New York Times could have posted earlier this year. Has Vince McMahon lost however many $1 million of your money in personal payoffs
Yeah.
for women that he paid off?
So I ask you, gentlemen,
Ouch.
what are your overall thoughts of Monday Night Raw?
Super solid show.
Oh yeah, this is a great one. Aside from some Hakushi sadness, or learning the Hakushi sadness, it's a good episode. There's lots of storytelling and building up for the next big event, which they're on their way to WrestleMania.
Tease for some incoming talent, and you can bitch it's basically illegal to bitch about the last match, the heavy title match ending in a DQ. It's like, we all knew that was going to happen. It's a little annoying because it just keeps happening, but so it's like you can't complain about that. It was just nice for it to happen, and it continues this feud. And it was nice that Undertaker was pissed off and attacked Big Daddy Cool, but it was even nicer that Big Daddy Cool got to jackknife the Undertaker, going into a cage match with Bret, where it just makes him look even stronger, as if he isn't already 7 feet tall.
And then you had the joy of Bret actually getting to throw some punches in there too for Big Daddy Cool coming down there and interrupting his match again.
Send him home happy.
I literally wrote, what more can you ask for
In 45 minutes.
for 45 minutes in this era of television?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if I could get a show this solid today from any wrestling promotion, I'd be pretty stoked. Just like 45 minutes of solid television matches.
Yeah. Beginning, middle, end.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So what are some of the best moments of this show?
Let's see. Man, I always love me some Billionaire Ted skits.
Yeah, I feel like that they're not as funny as they were, but it's still fun to see because they're not going to last forever.
So the original ones the last time we saw them, I don't remember if I mentioned, but USA basically told them to tone it down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so they went to more of these, which were a tamed down version, basically, of what they were going for.
Yeah.
Still super petty, but...
Yeah. Best moments, obviously the faceless, nameless little vignette that we saw leading the way for one future
Yeah,
Hall of Famer.
Something they used to do so well, where it's like, what is this? This is intriguing and interesting.
I know.
Remember, like,
Who is this guy?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Who's coming in?
Did they ever do it any better than $1 Million Man and Mr. Perfect though? Because those are kind of the best ones.
I mean, those are some of the best. Well, I mean, when Dusty was coming in, I always got a kick out of his vignettes that they did with him. Same thing when Regal comes in.
Wasn't really vignettes, but it was the teases of Flair were coming in.
Yeah.
Because Heenan's holding the belt. Like, as soon as you see the belt, you know who's coming.
Yeah.
But they can't
That's
say
a good
his
point,
name.
yeah.
Yep.
I guess they used to just do this really well.
Yeah.
Yes.
In general. And just
They
in
used to-
general. It's like, we just named like 7.
I mean,
when William Regal or Steven Regal, when he first makes his way in, or I don't remember if it's when he first does or if it's on a return that he has, but when he becomes the man's man.
that was a return.
Yeah, those just cracked me up because they were like the Mr. Perfect ones done, but they were like Mr. Perfect and Dusty Rhodes combined together. So it was like, he's William Regal or Steven Regal,
He's a man.
Yeah.
and then he's
a
coming in
man's
to
man.
plunge your toilet.
Yeah, that sounds almost like inspiration for like an Old Spice.
Yes.
Yokozuna face turn, guys.
Yeah. I was going
Like,
to say, his
he-
beatdown
he's-
on Cornette was nice.
He's been a bit of a stale character, which
Yeah.
it doesn't help that he's 650 pounds.
I mean, what was it, 92 that he last was like top of the card? Was that WrestleMania?
That was 93.
93 was WrestleMania 9.
Yeah, so that's he main
94
evented.
he main evented as well with Bret.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 93, 94 were good years for him, and then he kind of left to lose weight, gain weight,
mostly gay.
Basically, yeah.
and then came
Yeah,
back.
every
to
time
tag
he
team
went to
wrestling.
Fat Camp, he like brought more Snickers in his bag.
Every time he went to fat camp, he definitely got fat.
Yeah.
The Monsoon promo
It was good.
was good. Mm-hmm. Definitely, it was interesting to hear about the Roddy Piper because I was like Shane. I'd totally forgotten about this because he doesn't stick around for very long, but it's fun to. It's always fun to have Piper.
Yeah, I popped just because it's Roddy Piper.
Exactly.
Still one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. Him and Bret.
Anything else?
I mean, obviously, I think every performer did a good job because all 3 of these matches are
they're
solid
all solid
television
matches,
matches.
yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Hakushi just because, pouring one out for the boy.
Anything disappointing on this show? I don't love that they put that little newspaper ad thing at the very end. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's just.
I just was like, I was kind of like slack jawed. My jaw just kind of dropped. I was like, Jesus, man, what the fuck? You little wiener.
Also, the fact that like, because we all know whenever they moved everything from the network to Peacock, that like they edited stuff that wasn't one of the things that they were just kind of like, we should probably edit that
Yeah,
out.
yeah. I mean, there's so much content.
I mean,
so much.
I'm glad they didn't because as somebody who was watching it week to week back then, that was something that had never been done really. You had ECW that's been calling out to WCW and WWF. You had WCW that's made reference to New York and WWF, but WWF had never really been one that crossed that line to mention their competition.
Yeah.
So that was just something that
I mean,
was
they don't
totally off the
technically
wall.
Call out WCW. They call
No,
out
Ted
Turner.
Yes,
Yep.
and then of course the parodies of Mean
Hogan
Gene,
and
Hogan, and
Scheme Gene.
and Macho Man,
Call the hotline, brother.
old Nacho Man.
Anything else disappointing?
It's a
I
good
mean,
show.
goodbye Hakushi. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really
that
it.
is
I mean, it's a good
disappointing.
show. It's like I said, it's illegal to complain about a DQ on a TV title match.
Yeah, definitely.
So
How about best performer of the night? I'm okay agreeing with you going with Hakushi because Hakushi 1, 2, 3 is the best match.
it is the best match. And then Hakushi he doesn't half-ass it on his last match. He might not have known it was his last match, but either way, he didn't. Yeah, he's one of the most solid hands from what we've seen.
Yeah.
I've never had a complaint about a Hakushi match.
No. if anything, I'm always like pleasantly surprised. I'm like, oh yeah,
Can we see more of this guy?
Yeah,
Exactly.
he's probably gonna lose, but he's gonna look really good doing it.
Yep. Hakushi it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of anybody else.
Most surprising? I mean, it's obviously the Mankind promo.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't
Knowing
expecting
that
it.
it's without knowing it's Mankind,
Yeah. And is that the reason that we watched this one? Just for the...
Well, there's a combo probably.
This was a
Title.
highly rated episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, as I
With
was
the title-
watching it, I was
title
waiting for like
match.
a title change or something like that at first, and then Mankind popped up on the screen. I was like, all right, well, maybe this is our reason because this is his
I
first
mean,
glimpse.
Honestly, there's a
This
bunch of good
is a
reasons.
solid show.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
3 solid matches,
Yeah.
tons of storylines advanced in Yoko, Vader, the Mankind promo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Oh, we
the-
continue
the
the
continue the Undertaker and Diesel.
Yeah.
So it's
a hot show.
It has a little bit of everything, and it's like we said, it's a solid episode of Raw.
Yep. This is what TV like American television wrestling should be.
Making their way to the ring,
It's trivia time.
Oh, Fook.
So this week the category is the numbers game. So we got 5 points for a correct answer, 3 points if we go to multiple choice.
Okay.
So the answer is not a number.
Heard.
It'll be a name of a wrestler.
Okay.
So the question is, which wrestler did we see wrestle the most times in 93 and 94?
Actual matches or just appear on TV?
Actual matches.
Yeah,
They
stuff
have-
that we covered. Yeah.
They have to be in the first match, this person
Bell to
versus
bell.
this person.
Doing the math.
I don't think I'm going to throw out a wild guess. Just so, Shane, you got one? The floor is yours. I'm willing to take it too. Multiple choice.
93 and 94.
My assumption is this.
It's one of 4 people.
They know that it's not. Well, it's definitely one of 4 people, but that it's not Hulk Hogan. But that's really all I got.
I'll go for multiple choice. Why not?
All
Okay,
right.
we're going to go to multiple choice.
We'll just buzz
Your
in.
options are, and yes, buzz in. So we got Bret Hart, Dustin Rhodes, Hulk Hogan, or Sting.
I'll
Shane.
just go with who was originally in my brain was Bret.
Incorrect.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Sting.
Incorrect.
Ooh,
Was it a Dustin year?
It was a Dustin year.
I was wondering.
damn! Just all over WCW pre-Goldust. Yeah, damn.
Because, I mean,
Was that when he had 1 million matches with Bunkhouse Buck?
Well, the whole bunkhouse
And then he tagged a lot.
brigade.
Yeah.
Bonus question for 2 points. Price is Right rules. How many times did we see him wrestle?
All right, I got a number.
93 to 94. All of both years, correct?
Yep.
Okay. We'll go for... Okay.
All right, show me those numbers. Michael goes with 24. Shane goes with 10. Since it was Price is Right rules, Shane gets the points.
What's the number?
The number was 18.
Damn, my first thought was 16, and then
So I
I
was
went to
originally going to
24.
go for 14. It's
Damn.
like, wait, I don't remember how many shows they had.
My first thought was 16, but I was like, but it's 2 years, so maybe it's more. But yeah, cool.
Another bonus question
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
I was wondering why you were handing me a pen.
for 1 point each. Name the rest of the top 5 in matches we've seen.
Oh my God.
And you'll get a point for each of those people that you get. So obviously Dustin was 1. I want 2 through.
We're writing down 4 other names or 5 other names?
We can do 5.
Okay.
Because there's technically 12 people that were in the top 5.
Oh, shit.
Or 11 people. I mean 12
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Dustin. But Dustin's not one of your answers that you can give.
Okay. Why not?
Michael's going to write them so small that he's going to have to read them to me.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay.
All right, Shane. What names do you have?
I have Razor Ramon, Chris Benoit, Too Cold Scorpio,
Oh, I forgot about ECW. I'm an idiot.
Arn, and Bunkhouse Buck.
Bunkhouse is a good pull.
You got 2 points.
Okay. Do I only get them if I get more than he does?
No.
Okay, cool.
You both get points for whoever you get.
All right.
Michael, who'd you get?
Sting, Bret, Vader, Arn. I went with Hogan. I can't believe I forgot about ECW. That was so stupid. I could have picked. It should have just been all ECW guys. We watched so much ECW.
And Michael picks up 3 points.
Oh wow.
So the rest of the top 5: Flair, Austin,
I can't believe I put Hogan on.
Sting, Scorpio, Bret Hart, Brian Knobbs,
See, I almost went the nasty route.
Cactus Jack,
I'm
Jerry Sags, Razor, Terry Funk, and Vader.
Okay.
I got to get my headspace correct with this 93-94 thing. Cause I'm like, I feel like we've been in, we just started 96. I got 95 on the brain. 93-94, that's, Cactus Jack was still having matches with Vader and Sting in WCW.
Yep.
Seems so far away.
Next week, Super Brawl 6.
They made it to 6.
Wow.
They did make it to 6.
Who'd have thunk it?
Are we ready to brawl?
You never know.
Superly even.
At least 6 times?
Yeah, I mean, I never remember Super Brawl or which one is the one that typically has a gimmick on it.
All of them
It's
have
WCW. There's usually a
Good
gimmick in
point.
each one.
Yeah, good point.
Music from this week's show is the Raw theme by Jim Johnston. And Bret Hart won our main event, or at least he didn't lose.
Yeah.
Truth.
So we'll play his theme music, Hart Attack, by Jim Johnston as well.
That
He
was
retained
almost-
the belt.
That was almost the drink that we had, but I went the Bulldog route.
I'm sure we might have a few more changes with that Hart Attack if you want to bring it. But if you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there, rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts at. Do as Michael says.
5 stars or no stars.
That's right. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns,
Recipes, drink ideas, or you just want to, talk. Tell us what's going on in your world. What are you watching? What match do you think we should watch? Have you watched anything that we've covered? What was your favorite?
if you're selling cool stuff and you want to, want us to retweet it, let us know that you're doing that.
You got the hookup on snacks from Philly. I'm sure I'm gonna need some.
I think
so.
you pilfered that you've scorched the earth there, Shane. But hey, we don't know. We're not Phillians.
That's right. But you can do that at our email at WrestlingHistoryX@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTOX. We'll talk to you next week.
Laters.